think people use diets incorrectly, and they use them for the off-label use before they understand what the intent is. And the intent is to manipulate energy balance, but there is a certain amount of pre-work that needs to be completed before people engage in something like that. You have to kind of build up the reserves, and you kind of have to build up your savings account before you go and drop a down payment on a house, so to speak.
The crazy thing is that every single one of them is also now a business coach. The entry to becoming a business guru in this space or a life coach is disordered eating and having no clue how to run a business and figuring you can give other people business advice. When that doesn't work, you just tell people, forget about the eating thing. We're going to optimize things from peptides. You know how I notice themes, Andrew? This is one of those patterns that I see. Welcome back to Beyond the Pump, where we are going to break down, actually today, a real life conversation around how the past 22 days has actually been 4 years in the making. And you're going to want to stick around. This is a great episode for your clients, great episode to help you shed some light for your clients. And if you're somebody just looking to lose weight, take a listen. Spend the next 35 minutes learning something that you don't know, because I guarantee you, you're trying to get a result next week, next month, and it just isn't working, and you're doing it time and time again.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of goodness in here on how not to get scammed in fitness or business. So make sure you listen to the end where we dive into some of those goodies, or you can skip ahead. We'll appreciate the view either way. Make sure you leave us a review at some point. Otherwise, you're just being a selfish consumer. But we love that you're here.
Me and one of the guys in my jiu-jitsu gym basically have a bet of who can lose the most weight in pounds between now and, I think we set a deadline of like February 15th, somewhere in there, 6 weeks.
You said raw pounds.
Raw pounds. And frankly, whether I win or lose, I don't care, because I don't want to undo the progress that I've made.
You do like to win.
And I can't crush myself that badly in 6 weeks unless I literally decide to not eat. And it was also perfect timing because I was rolling into a cut, and I'm like, all right, like I'm down. And to be fair, I outweighed him by 9 pounds at the start of this. So technically I have a slight edge. We're both doing it our own scales of what our weights are, and we're going purely raw pounds, purely volume of pounds that we lose.
I'd just be curious to see what his before and after on his in-body looks like. But
he didn't do an in-body. He's using some other scale thing. So we are now, today is the 23rd. I weighed in on the 1st. We both weighed in on the 1st. Wednesday, I did an in-body, and I sent you my results. I'm like, all right, getting my body fat down, get my body fat percentage down was good. So Jen went to go do her in-body today, and I'm like, you know what? I'm slightly a lunatic, so why not do another in-body 2 days later? So my total weight loss in the, call it 22 full days, has been 11.1 pounds. Now, I also know this is coming right after the holidays, right after a bulk, all the things. Immediately glycogen is going to be lower. Like there's a lot of things that are going to drive that down quickly. So, throwing it in a group. And I think the thing I care to get out of this is for my buddy at the gym to lose some weight and like to get healthier. So happy to have a competition. And if I win or I lose, cool, whatever. One of the other guys goes, is like, man, what are you eating to lose that much weight? You should
have told him tapeworm.
So I know what I ate to build my metabolism and everything like that to get to this point. Whereas he only sees what I'm doing right now. And it's just this like function of what the world kind of sees. So I respond to him. He's like, darn, what is your diet to drop that much? Was his text. My response was smashing around 2,600 calories a day right now. Also got to eat one of these bad boys last night. And I sent him a link for Taylor Chip, a brookie, which has about 850 calories in it. And I said, well, half of one, the kid wanted some. So he doesn't respond at all, because I'm sure his mind is blown of, wait, this dude's eating way more food than I am, but he's losing weight. I just thought it was the basis of an interesting conversation of like, I've set myself up for this cut for like 4 fucking years. Like I've earned being able to lose this weight for 4 years of work in my mind.
Has it been 4 years? Fuck, dude, it has.
2022. From that perspective, I'm like, and everybody from the outside looking in, they're like, oh crap, he lost 11 pounds in 22 days, he's losing half a pound a day. And it's like, A, that's not sustainable. Like if I keep doing that, I'll crush my metabolism. B, some large portion of that is glycogen and water stores. And the moment I go back to eating some good carbs and everything like that, I'll instantaneously gain 5 to 6 pounds, raw pounds. C, I've increased my metabolism by, I have no idea how much over the past 4 years of all this stuff, that now if I do a short 4 to 6 week kind of let me eat less than my body needs, it's kind of like melting off of you in a way. I think the world today very much is like, man, I need to go lose weight now. And I get it. And I understand it from that mentality, because I was that person 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But like now I can eat what 2 people eat in a day and I'm actually losing weight.
We had a conversation around peptides this morning on the, physician or the provider science segment. And it was just like the amount of misinformation that's circulating and the amount of off-label uses, I think that people are adopting and picking up certain things like GLP-1s, which obviously, like when you think about something like Ozempic, was originally for diabetics and weight management to help with metabolic syndrome and weight loss. And like, obviously the off-label was that they happened to lose weight, but it also regulated appetite, which then decreased blood sugar because people weren't cramming their faces as much and reduced the food noise. So, what you're kind of, to tie that down to this, I think people use diets incorrectly, and they use them for the off-label use before they understand what the intent is. And the intent is to manipulate energy balance, but there is a certain amount of pre-work that needs to be completed before people engage in something like that. You have to kind of build up the reserves, and you kind of have to build up your savings account before you go and drop a down payment on a house, so to speak. And I think that's, you're definitely beautifully alluding to, and it's, I kind of have qualms sometimes with when people say earn stuff, though. It's not sexy to earn something these days,
No, but I think there's a realistic, like, there is an earning opportunity that exists, right? And no matter what, I would say, because I hear you, I agree with you, but I think when I hear earn something, and I try to think a little bit of, if I'm coaching anybody else other than myself who wants a result right now, in any moment of time, you're actively earning something, and you're actively making a decision on what you're earning. You might be unaware, willfully, unwillfully, whatever, whatever it is, but you are actively earning something in the moment of whatever it is that you're doing. So you can go and absolutely lose weight immediately, like by doing some crazy wild shit. 100%. You might actively think you're earning a lower weight on the scale, but somebody who's a little more well-versed and mature in that world also knows you're earning a lower metabolism on the other side. And I'm talking like, let me go starve myself type stuff, or let me go hard GLPs that are not recommended and undereat and be malnourished, right? Like that, like just I'm trying to paint the extreme example of weight loss if I'm just not going to eat anything for a day or a month. Not literally like not eat, but basically eat 500 calories type stuff, right? You're earning a lower metabolism, which on the other side is likely earning you a really good opportunity to regain a bunch of weight that you're not happy with on the other side of things. So like you're always earning something, but I think your context is way more of like, oh, I put in all this work for 4 years and I earned my ability to cut. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's where, because I used to hear this a lot with one of my old mentors. His name was James Fitzgerald, and, owns OPEX. And I think they're a great quality, coaching education platform for people that want to go and spend, thousands of dollars and want to be professional coaches. I think it's a great place to start. Admittedly, like they do a little more of the functional movement stuff and like the CrossFit world. And so if that's not really your jam, I wouldn't spend the $5,000 to $10,000 or whatever they cost these days. But yeah, I mean, he always would have this, like, you have to earn the right to do anaerobic activity, and you have to earn the right to do, and it just, when you think about the average consumer, as soon as you start putting in friction points like that, or, like kind of these gated items, people always want to look over the fucking gate. And so, with my recent psychology, deep dives, it's just like, that's where I agree that yes, there absolutely has to be some pre-work. I think that physiologically speaking, you have to have a savings account before you burn through your cash. Otherwise, you go into debt, and debt's going to accrue interest, and that's where you start getting some weird side effects. You have to go borrow money, like in the case of that one client of ours, lovely human being that would have to go and take loans and loans and loans, and would pay off a loan and then take out another loan to pay off child support or to pay for whatever. Like, it was the weirdest thing. And so I think what was the interest rate on some of these things? Like 25 to 100% or something fucking nuts.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was daily payments.
Daily payments. Like, imagine someone's got a boot on your neck every single day. And so when you think about the physiological mechanisms that happen, like, I just want to be clear to the listeners that metabolic adaptation or thermo adaptive mechanisms, they have a floor effectively, which is, I mean, your BMR will decrease to some degree. Obviously, like, your lean body mass is going to play a role in that, which will influence your hormones, like your TSH and whatever else, your T4, T3. But there is a basement to that. And so what we find is that in adaptive thermogenesis, or in this thermoreduction would be the appropriate term here, of what people call metabolic adaptation, it's really not as big of a factor as we thought. What we actually find is that it causes, as people eat less, they inherently want to move less. And so this is why when people are like, well, I'm not losing weight, I'm in a caloric deficit. Well, yeah, you're eating less, but you're also moving spontaneous movement wise. Your non-exercise activity and the quality of your workouts, frankly, are probably just at a decreased ceiling, so to speak. And as you eat less, you're going to move less. And if you move less, then it's a net.
I find that my jujitsu workouts, it's, if you move less, you die quicker.
Yeah.
So they help me stay moving quite a bit.
Yeah, you have an external motivator for sure. And I think that that's a huge component of it.
But you bring up the BMR, basal metabolic rate, and maybe you could explain this to me, because I don't even honestly know this.
Yeah.
So on January 1st, my BMR, according to InBody, was 9,418 kilojoules.
Okay.
My BMR as of today is 9,134 kilojoules. So I'm down, call it 300 kilojoules in that same 3-ish week period, which to me just signals, okay, yeah, your metabolism is going down. I don't know how to convert that into calories. I've also never tried, because I'm sure Google and chat can tell you pretty quickly. Actively, my metabolism is going down as I'm losing the weight, because I weigh less. And I'm also at the same time know that I'm giving away some of my lean muscle mass in order to lose the weight as well.
Yeah. And, I think that, because I just wanted to be accurate here for a second, there's a lot of things that go into your basal metabolic rate, or, what people call your resting metabolic rate. Some people use them interchangeably. In the lay science, if you're talking to a client, it doesn't really matter. I would say resting metabolism is usually how I talk about it whenever I would have coaching conversations. Now, if I'm talking to a clinician, or if I'm talking to a coach that has an understanding of physiology, I'll use BMR usually, because it's more of a clinically grounded phenomena, where it's, if you laid on a cold slab in a very temperature controlled environment and you were in a comatose state, what the amount of energy that you would need to sustain being alive and maintaining that current state of your being. Like, not losing weight, not gaining weight necessarily, but just like essential functions on a cold slab. And I shouldn't even say cold slab, on a temperature neutral slab, because cold slab will obviously drive up some thermoregulation processes. And so when you think about BMR, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. And to answer your question, like, or, to allude to this, every kilojoule, so for every 1 calorie, capital C, or some people call them kcals, which, I mean, get off your fucking high horse here. Kcals. Oh, you're so cool. When we hear calorie, no one's thinking lowercase c, which you need 1,000 of those to equal 1 big C, capital C calorie, which, okay, whatever. Let's just pretend that when we use calories here, we're using them interchangeably in conjunction with what you would see on the back of a nutrition label. Well, we know that for people that freak out or have a weird association with the word calorie, because some people like myself have disordered eating histories, and that might be a triggering thing for, like, hey, we're going to track your calories, like, because it just brings up this whole world of associations with that word. people consider, like, if you ask a client, hey, what is a calorie? Like, oh, it's the thing that makes you fat. It's the thing that you see on nutrition labels, the thing to avoid. Like, there's generally a negative connotation for that lay person that is probably looking at Ozempic, that is probably going down these routes of what a negative, like what a calorie is. And so sometimes I'll use kilojoules interchangeably to get people to understand that a calorie is just simply a unit of energy that takes, like, I think it's one, however many calories to raise 1 liter of water by 1 degree Celsius. Like, think about rubbing two sticks together to create a fire. That's creating kinetic energy, and that increases heat.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going camping with you if that's how you rub your sticks together, bro.
you got to rub down the one stick into the other stick. You know what I'm saying? Or you just rub sticks like this. You know what I'm talking about. But anyways, but one calorie.
That was the most Asian thing that you have done in a while.
Listen, hang on. And so then the coefficient of friction, then you rate, yeah. So, but 1 calorie is equivalent to 4.184 kilojoules.
I've tanked my metabolism by tanked is extreme, by 75 to 85 calories a day.
Yeah. Yeah. You would have gone down from a resting, if you laid in bed all day staring up at the ceiling, which is what we call resting metabolism or resting metabolic rate, which is less clinical of a setting. Basal, clinical, resting, non-clinical. That's what you would need if you were like laying in bed, just staring to the ceiling, not moving. If you're like in the movie of Misery, where she got the guy chained up to the bed, not in a fun way. For those of you that are millennials and you're born in the last millennium, my people, right? But that's what you would need to sustain your organ function, your brain function, and your liver, and circulating your blood, and blinking and breathing, and a lot of those autonomic functions. But yeah, so it sounds like now you then, on the other end of that, would have to go and actively be more active. And I think 85 calories, if you will, is roughly equivalent to like 20 minutes of a brisk walk. So that's the thing that people forget about, is that if you want to maintain that new weight, you either need to reduce your intake by 85 calories, or you need to potentially increase your output to maintain that original net. So that's
or you just take steroids and grow your muscles again.
I can't advocate for that. And I will say you should consult your medical provider for determining if that's a right thing for you. And you should definitely not go super physiological. We have to put this disclaimer now. We have to put this disclaimer now. We have to put this out there, because this is not medical advice. It's not intended to be construed as medical advice. Nothing on Beyond the Pump podcast, nor any of its ancillary segments, are construed as medical advice. I'm really hypersensitive to disclaimers right now. We've had some litigation in recent consulting companies, so just a little more nervous.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you eat less, you're going to lose weight, right? Theoretically, if you lose weight and you continue your same activity output, that creates that increased deficit, which then will cause you to probably down-regulate your activity a little bit. You'll tap your feet a little bit less, like you'll fidget a little bit less. So, sometimes caffeine can be a powerful thing to keep you moving, but then that's also going to have, metabolic impacts on different items. Could be pro-inflammatory. There's a whole cascade of things that go in there. That most
pro heating your body up and make you sweat. That's what it is, pro.
Yeah. I mean,
there's nothing better than 5 shots of espresso when you go and do like 35, 40 minutes of cardio in the morning, bro.
Yeah. I don't know. Weirdly enough, Diet Coke kind of fucks me up these days. I'll drink a little bit of caffeine, and I'll have because I keep a case of Diet Cokes in my car. I'm like, I'm feeling a little bit, I need like a little pick me up, and I'll drink one, and I get sick. Like I get like a weird head thing. You ever that? No, not you. Just me.
One Coke Zero a day kind of guy.
No, I'm like a Celsius, and then maybe like a coffee, and then like I need a little pick me up. Like that levels me out a little bit. The Celsius, the coffee helps perk me up a little bit, but then the Diet Coke is like the ignition where I'm like, yeah, I feel good.
I enjoy the pre-workout before lifting days, so Wednesdays and Saturdays right now. And then if I go to the gym to do just walking in the morning, I'll usually get a caffeine coffee to have while I'm walking and listening to like learning things or whatever. But outside of that, I'm staying my decaf, but I walk for like 35, 40 minutes incline, 3.2, 3.3, come home, I get in the sauna and finish up that coffee, bro. And I am sweating.
Ooh. Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, it takes me like 30 minutes to get going a little bit on the treadmill, but once I do that, then I'm like, this is a good little clip. I start to feel, and it's always like the one bead down your back. That's how you know you're like, oh, because I never noticed
Finally.
the pits, the
Yeah.
bead. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah. But
yeah.
anyway, so it was just it was a funny conversation where I tried to be responsible, right, on the back end, because like, oh, I'm just smashing this much food and whatever. Because then I'm like, well, he's either taking me like I'm an asshole,
Oh, yeah.
or he's like, you're not even like, you're being just facetious and not even telling the truth right now. You must be eating nothing but salad and kale and salad. And that's causing your weight loss. So I actually responded back and I was like, hey man, I've focused on growing my metabolism and increasing it for like 3-4 years, literally measuring basically every single week, all this stuff and everything else that now has put me in a spot where for 4 to 6 weeks, I can go pretty darn hard and get a great result. That from the outside looking in looks like I'm not even trying and I'm eating cookies before I go to bed.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, never skip dessert.
No,
and never eat vegetables.
That's a stupid saying. Whoever thinks that saying is amazing is dumb.
It's funny because Hormozy originally, I think, was the one that our beloved individual we're referring to borrowed that from, because I don't think the person we talked to ever had an original thought. But, not to say anything, but Hormozy was like, never skip dessert. And this guy was like, oh, that's so cool. I'm going to adopt that. But I mean, like, their idea of a healthy meal was to eat vegetable, like their vegetable was a potato.
The only vegetable ever that I remember was asparagus with only lemon on it, nothing else.
That too. Okay, admittedly that, yeah.
That was the only legit vegetable that I remember. And if it ever had any oil on it, not because of flavor, but because of it's unhealthy for you and too many calories and fat, talk about fucking disordered eating, then it would get sent back and couldn't be done.
Yeah. Well, this individual that had some disordered eating history that
I'm tired of everybody having disordered eating and thinking, blah, blah, blah. And you're one of my closest friends.
Relax.
So you're
easy.
I'm about to go off on a tangent.
It's
I'm like, I'm about to attack Andrew here.
It's a real thing now in the mental health field, I'll tell you.
But like everybody, we know that I lack some sensitivity and empathy towards mental things. So that's like I'm going to just straight up say it. Like in my mind, you got to figure out a way to toughen up and just figure it out.
That's fair. There's time for that.
Logically, I know that that's not the right answer, but emotionally, that's my answer.
Sometimes
towards anything. Sometimes mental. Right. The disordered eating thing, that is every single person who is in some type of health things, coaching, whatever, like I'm a disordered eating person and I wanted to change the world. The crazy thing is that every single one of them is also now a business coach or a guru. So it's like the entry to becoming a business guru in this space
or a life coach
or a life coach is disordered eating and having no clue how to run a business and figuring you can give other people business advice and then like going on from there. And then when that doesn't work, you just tell people, forget about the eating thing. We're going to optimize things from peptides. You know how I notice themes, Andrew? Like I'm good at pattern recognition. This is one of those patterns that I see.
Yeah.
You're different because you've yet to truly go down the road of business coaching.
I don't fucking ever do that shit. I don't want anything. That's too much liability. I have no interest in that. Like, I want to help people, like, not at least put some parameters up, but optimizing that and rev ops. I don't fucking care about any of that. I care about people ops, though. That is something that I do find myself interested in. And I think, performance optimization has always been in the wheelhouse. I think just drifting more from the physical nutrition side of the house into more of like the mental side of the house and bridging the gap and, one-to-one versus one-to-many of that. I think that's the evolution that I'm currently undergoing of how do we take a lot of those principles and adopt them in an organizational culture setting. And I think that that's kind of, it's a fun playground for me as I evolve as a professional. But yeah, I mean, I think people realize that there's a finite game when it comes to being a health coach. And this is the unsexy truth of this, is that most people will not make enough money doing this profession because they don't know how, and they have no meaningful framework or foundation to build off of. They end up chasing a bunch of single tactics and tricks, the same way that people, in kind of going back to the original thing, diets. People know what's worked once or twice. They don't know why it worked, which is a problem for generalizing beyond the original circumstances. And so, if you can go and scam people, and scamming means some people call it arbitrage, which is kind of a funny concept that maybe we have a different topic on it one day. Scamming or arbitrage, are they the same? I think in some ways they are, where basically the nature of a scam is that you are withholding critical information and you are over promising on an outcome, right? Whatever that is. Like, you can have a business scam, you can have a fitness scam, you can have a nutrition scam. And this is why when I think about fitness scams, every single girl that has a big ass on social media, that is a BBL, that is selling booty builder programs and insists that they're natural and they've built this thing in this dump truck over the last couple of years, and also while maintaining a super lean physique and like abdominal definition, that ain't fucking it. That's a scam. And I always have to stop myself, because I could go out there and I could look like the asshole. And I know there are accounts that do this, and I have the instinct to do this. However, I don't want to be that kind of individual. I don't want to develop that brand reputation. But like, these people are scamming people because they have no idea. They're like, you got to do 3 dimensions of glute development. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just go fucking squat, snatch, clean, run, sprint. Like, go be a fucking athlete. Look at every athlete. They got a big old ass for the most part if they're a power sport athlete. But your fucking Smith machine cheek up routine is it. Like, shut the fuck up and sit down. Go review like another certification. Or better yet, come into school. Come into Health Coaching Success Academy. We have a fitness degree. We have a fitness certification, right? That's intended to give you the no frills, basic things that we know work. If you want to zhuzh that up and make that sexy, that's cool. I would love that, right? But I think that, again, there are people that have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, that are out there selling things, and they frankly, I would not say it's malicious intent. It's ill-intended towards a consumer. I don't think that they're maybe thinking they're taking advantage of people. I think that, they're getting a lot of positive feedback from social media of like, oh my God, girl, your glutes look great, yada, yada, yada. And they're just posting a workout routine like, maybe I should show people what I do. And like, no, go fucking show them your surgeon then, you schmuck. Shame on you. Anyways, that's my rant. I don't know how we got here. Scams. Yeah, business scams. Well, they'll do the same shit.
And that's the thing, right? I think that stuff starts off innocent, and eventually it's not innocent anymore, where it turns into like, oh, I'm going to teach people how to grow the business. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, I got to put these things together. I'm going to do this. And then eventually you start to learn some of your deficiencies, and like, you just ignore them, or you say some dumb shit like, never let the truth get in the way of good marketing. And it's like, wow, that's great. That's 100%.
I just do it. I just do it because I love it and because I really want to help people. I don't do it for any other reason. Yeah,
I know. It's like, I'm not here for anything specific. It's purely because I care, guys. Like,
yeah, do it for free. I'm going to give away my certification for $1. Your certification is generally worthless, by the way. But like, why are you giving it away for $1? So you can take more money from other people. Like, it's just modern day snake oil shit. And I will say that they are, generally speaking, correct in that there's nothing really from a nutritional science perspective that's going to evolve significantly. There are small trends and evolutions, but if you understand science, if you understand how your body works, you can manipulate those principles in new, unique fashions. But you always got to eat more, move less, period. Right? Like, or eat less, move more. Get it? If you're trying to gain weight, move more, eat. Fuck, you get it.
See, this is how, like, right there, that's the new diet.
Yeah.
That's eat more, move less.
Eat more, move less. If you want to get jacked inside out.
EMML.
I want to give a shout out to Jeff Bourne, because he's the most consistent dude on social media ever, and you guys should go follow him.
You're not wrong, actually.
He's so consistent. It's inspirational. He's so consistent. He doesn't give a fuck about any views, any metric. He's always on there. Like, I think he's like twice a day now. So I always watch this shit all the way through, give him his view, and then double tap it. And, my God. But like, that's what I mean by you got to love some shit. Like, and that's why the people, like, he will be successful at some point. if you love the game, you'll play the game, and you
Well,
just never, fuck it.
you gotta have your dues paid, and you gotta earn it.
Impact over everything.
You gotta earn it. But well, and that's the thing, right? Like even the social media stuff, everybody wants to put something out there now. I was having a conversation Wednesday with one of my like free clients that I'm just helping as he's opening a gym. And he's very, brick and mortar gyms, brick and mortar in general, advertising is always viewed as an expense, not an investment. And like for a gym to spend $3,000 in a month is wildly insane for them. Meanwhile, clients, they're spending 6 figures a month in advertising spend, right? So it's just very different of what they think about
7 figures
and how they view that. So he's on there's like, guys, we really need to post like 2 or 3 times a day organically instead of just one. That's how we're going to help open up our doors in the right thing. And I'm like, all right, it's not going to hurt by posting more. Like we can all agree that more is better unless it eats up a ton of time and bandwidth as the loss of there. But let me ask you this. In 6 weeks of posting, how many clientele have you gotten to sign up for your gym that is now opening in roughly 6 weeks? It's like, well, none. I'm like, okay, what's 3 times 0? And he's like, well, I think if we go from 1 a day to 2 or 3 a day, that's better. I'm like, what's 3 times 0? I go, you're at time to figure it out. This isn't like, this is time to take action. This is not time to like, I think and I hope. And he's like, well, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, 0. I'm like, do you know how many posts it takes to equal roughly $100 in ad spend? He's like, I have no idea. I go, I'm pulling this from ChatGPT. I have no idea if this is accurate or not, but it sounds fair to me that it takes roughly 40 organic posts to equal the reach and engagement of $100 paid advertising promotion. I go, do you want to post 40 times or spend $100? Because I'm willing to bet the time it takes you to post 40 times is going to eat up more than $100 in payroll alone, while you could be doing other things. And when I asked him that, he was like, wow, I never even thought of it that way. Again, we're always earning something in the moment, whether we know about it or not. And usually we're earning multiple things. This is one of those scenarios. Oh, let me go spend a lot of time to make more posts in a day. Well, guess what? 2 posts extra per day divided into 40 divided by 2 is 20. It's going to take you 20 days to potentially get the same outcome as that $100. It's $5 a day, dude. Go spend the money.
Some people are too poor, dude. It's like waiting in line for the gas station because it's 1 cent cheaper than the one across the street.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, interesting conversation. You're earning things. You're actively moving towards something. Try to be, it's hard to know all of the pieces. And that's why coaches are useful, whether it's fitness, whether it's business, whether it's mental things for those people. Like all that stuff is helpful for somebody that is more acutely aware of the things that you're juggling. But going and losing 11 pounds in 22 days, it's not because of the work that I did in 22 days. It's because of the work that I put in the 4 years prior that's making the 22 days way easier. And that's what a lot of people don't see. It's kind of like an iceberg, right? You see the top part, you see that piece, you don't see all the work underneath. So I just thought that was interesting based upon literally real life experience this morning.
Yeah. Well, and I, to put my cap on that is like every time someone sees an Olympic athlete like Usain Bolt or someone that wins a gold medal and they're making their Michael Phelps, they're like, what are they doing
all gifted,
right now?
Bro.
What?
They're just all gifted.
Well, okay. Yeah. I mean, they're special for sure. But people are like, yeah, I just want to do what they're doing right now. That's what they're doing. And they're in the Olympics. No, you want to do the shit that they were doing when they finally cracked the code on how to start being efficient and effective. You don't want to just go put in 10,000 yards of volume. Your shoulders will blow up. There's a scaffolding that has to happen, and you have to start with the reality of the situation. I mean, if your credit score's in the 400s, you're not going to jump to straight 800. You got to find, a debt and then pay that one off or whatever that is. I don't know. I'm not a financial analyst, but I'm using that as an example. So you got to start with what you got and what you know and the resources you have available. And in this case, kind of bringing this back to the scams, you need to know how something works before you understand how it's broken. And if you hire someone to fix something that's broken without understanding how it's supposed to work, you're going to get got more often than not. Fucking poetry. Good God, I blacked out. That was wild. Clip that. But anyways, but yeah, so I think that's probably a good place to close out. Any final thoughts?
No, I just, if this episode is helping you when it comes to either yourself losing some weight, like cool, think about it. How can you better yourself? If you're a coach out there who has clients or just struggling with some of the time frames of things, share it with them so they can kind of take a listen. We're not perfect, but this is literally life experience here, unprompted, just conversation around life. So, outside of that, we appreciate you guys listening in to Beyond the Pump, where we break down the business of fitness and nutrition. Hope you guys are having a great day. Subscribe to the channel, like the episode, say hey, throw us a comment on anything that you want us to talk about, and we'll see you guys next time.